Alright guys, welcome to Riding with Rob. We got the TC back up in the air today and we're doing the suspension. So why don't you come take a look over here what we got. We got our nice TRD springs that are going in. It's always good when you're working on Toyota stuff to get their genuine parts. But you know, if you don't have the extra scratch, there's other lowering springs out there. In general, we're just going to do a quick install video. We're going to just see the comparison of the TRD spring to the stock spring here. Now the TRD spring's obviously lower, and as you can see, it's got a higher spring rate, meaning there's more springs in this area than there are in this area. So it's going to drop it about an inch, and we should see some really good performance as far as stiffening it up and everything. Also included with the kit, we got some bump stops. These ones are nice. This is the stock one here. These ones are polyurethane. They're a little bit nicer. They're going to protect your struts a little bit better in case you end up bottoming out on some kind of major bump or anything like that. So, I wish people would die on a different day. I'm trying to do a video. So, we got the one side done. So that's where that spring came from. This is our stock strut assembly. And it's really easy to get off. To do the top bolts, I'd recommend getting a gear wrench just because it's really easy to get in there with the gear wrench. If you don't have it, you're going to end up having to remove the top cowl panel. So just be aware of that, or you know, you'll have to use just a standard wrench, but a gear wrench will save your life here. So you got the 3 bolts up top, but you want to get down to the bottom first. Okay, you've got the brake line's going to attach here. There's a small clip here that attaches the wheel speed sensor cord, and then you've got for your sway bar link here. There's another bolt. You may end up having to use an Allen wrench in the middle of it, just because it starts to spin. So you know, make sure you got the tool to do that, and then you've got your 2 big bolts here that attach to the knuckle. Now, our knuckle is hanging right now, and we've got a strap on it here. And the reason why you want to put the strap on is just because is because you don't want to damage your axle, which is just going to be hanging loose here, your ball joint on the bottom, and your steering control rods here too. So you just tie it up. We did it this way. You could probably put a hook through and hang it up here, but you don't want to let the axle stretch out too far. You don't want to damage any of the stock parts while doing this. So now we don't have a spring compressor. If you've never done this kind of job before, if you don't have any experience, you can rent them at AutoZone. They're pretty easy to do. You don't necessarily need one. Now I've got the convenience of I've got an air tool and everything here. I'm going to show you how I do it without the spring compressor. I know a lot of people get really freaked out. It's, you know, there's a lot of tension or whatever. It's not that much tension. Older cars had a lot more tension. But you know, I've done this quite a few times. It's pretty simple. So I lay the strut down. I put my foot on the spring. I'm going to put my hand just gently on the top riser here. And really just a little bit at a time, we're going to take the top bolt off. It's going to spring apart a little bit, so I want to keep my limbs clear and everything, but it's not some kind of cartoon major where it's going to kill you. So let's just go ahead. I'm just going to do this real quick. And that's it. So you see this one sprang apart a little bit harder than the other one did. But it's really not that big of a deal. You don't necessarily need a spring compressor. Like I said, if you've never done this before, you don't have any experience, just rent one from AutoZone. They're pretty cheap and easy. So now we've got it apart, the other spring goes back on. You just put a little bit of pressure on the top. You can tighten. They've got a new nut for you and everything. So, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. We'll be doing the backs on another video, so stay tuned.